Welcome back to Joy News Desk. The Volta Lake is arguably one of the biggest water bodies in Ghana and beyond. It is a tourist destination many visit annually. Joy News editor Martha Quintal Aqua visited the Esutrari end of the lake and reports.
We know the Volta Lake to be full of fish, but what we didn't know is that it's also a place for sand winning. Now I am learning for the first time that there are natives here who actually win sand from this lake, and some of them are getting fine sand, others are getting black sand, and others are also getting sand that you can use for mortar for building without using chippings. And so I am joining them here to find out more about that. Let's get more detail from what they are doing here.
We have assorted of sands.
Okay.
We have smooth.
Okay.
We have block sand, pebbles, gravel, and the black sand.
Okay, so this is one lake, but you have assorted sand.
Yeah.
Where do you get what? How do you know where to get what?
Yeah, we definitely know where they've been allocated.
Who allocated them?
By God, by the old government.
So how long have you been doing this?
For about 2 years ago.
But it started way back before you.
Our uncles have won it about 15 years ago. Okay. So they got to know where exactly the type of sand that you need is located.
So those coming have the black sand, right?
Yeah, they have the black sand.
Okay, what do you use the black sand for?
They use it mainly to blast ships. They send it to Thermal.
Okay. How do you weigh? Like a trip of sand, normal trip of sand, how do you sell it?
It depends.
Okay.
The gravel is a little expensive. It's 330 Ghana per cubic meter. We sell the truck according to cubic meters.
I saw you diving into the water.
Yeah,
and then
this is manually.
Manual, okay.
Yeah, it's manually.
But do you have some people using machine?
It's a white man down to Australia. He is using machine, but ours is
Manual.
small scales. We charge according to boat. One boat have its charge, and then the women have their charge. So it's according to the number of boat that they carry. If one boat is 3 Ghana cedis or 4 Ghana cedis, at the end when they carry about 6 or 7 or 10, and then you have to multiply and divide it by the number of people that carry it.
Okay. How many have you carried so far today? How many tons have you carried?
20.
20. So by the close of day, on a normal day, how much will you get?
Maybe 5 CD or...
You get something, but don't you feel pain in your neck? It's so much.
I'm coming.
You let's go. Tell me, I'll go with you. How much? How do you feel pain? Do you have to take painkiller by the time you close your head?
My head or my body or my leg.
I see. Every Sunday, every Monday, they come around. It's hard work. Maybe I should try and carry one. Can I?
So that report was by news editor Martha Quintal. Getting wet there, but yesterday the world marked World Tourism Day. It's on the theme 1 billion tourists, 1 billion opportunities, and this is supposed to reflect the ability to foster economic growth, job creation and development. But have any of these targets been achieved here in Ghana? And is tourism just a good holiday, or there's more, as the United Nations World Tourism Organization suggests? We're joined in the studio by Pajon Bentifi. He's manager at Sea Ghana Domestic Tourism Movement. Thank you very much for joining us, Pajon. Now, what's the benefit of tourism, really?
Well, tourism, the whole idea of tourism is moving from one place where you normally live to another place where you would stay within a period of 12 months. So if you stay longer than 12 months, then you're like a resident. But if you stay less than 12 months, you're classified as a tourist. And their whole idea is that when you live somewhere, you spend within that locality. So even within Accra, I live in Kanda. I buy my coffee boatman in Kanda every day. If I go to Kanishi and I stay there for 3 days. I go visit someone, I stay for 3 or 4 days, and I buy coffee brokeman there. I'm depriving my local woman in Kanda of her economy, of some money, because I'm now spending the 2 cities every day in Kaneshie. So Kaneshie, the lady in Kaneshie gets more money. It's the same thing when you take it on a broader scale.
Allow me to butt in here, and that's what the United Nations is talking about.
That's precisely what.
So it's not just about having a good trip, as we saw Martha,
Absolutely.
go have.
I mean, the whole idea is you experience different things when you travel. Travel is not, you certainly wouldn't go somewhere and just go and sit there and not do anything. Even if you were just sitting there, I imagine you have at least one meal a day. And having that one meal would constitute having bought ingredients to make that meal, to include you. So where normally those ingredients would be bought where you were living, now it's being bought in another space. So the money is economically transferred from one location to the other. That's how the world runs, and that's what tourism is about.
Do we appreciate what you're saying in Ghana?
It's a difficult question. I don't think we look at it necessarily that way. We do a lot of tourism. For instance, when we do funerals and things like that, it's a little tricky because when there's a funeral and you attend, you don't spend more than a day usually, sometimes. And then
your attention is on the funeral.
Yeah, and half the time the food may have been done from maybe Accra and taken there and things like that, So while there's movement, which also aids in or comes under the whole tourism thing, that economy is not necessarily moved. But it is interesting that we're talking about this because the focus now is on the sort of movement where you are actually spending some money in the new environment where
but people believe that, most people think that, taking a trip, I live in Accra, if I take a trip to Cape Coast or Kumasi to go and experience the place, as you say, it's expensive.
Yes and no. People like the idea of the travel, yes. People like the idea of the experience.
They wouldn't
but
want
they
to
don't
spend
like
when they go
the
there.
idea of spending money. Because it's I suppose because it's not part of our culture. And also the fact that when we have traveled, we have always wanted to stay with relatives. We don't necessarily go and stay in a hotel and things like that, which is what people would rather think is more tourism than going to stay with family and friends. But you still go and spend money there. It's still as an aspect of tourism. You may not have gone to live in a hotel. You may go and stay with a friend or a relative, but you would spend money on food in that locality.
So culture seems to be hampering tourism a lot. Is culture the only factor?
No. Also
the money aspect.
Money aspect and the financial aspect is very, very important. We don't earn so much here in Ghana, so that people are able to put some aside for vacation. I mean, elsewhere, where the culture is high, people take vacations very seriously, and they would save a year to go on vacation. It's not so here. I mean, and then people think that I can go down to Labadi to my local bar and have my 2 or 3 bottles of beer and some kebab or akonfem.
So the understanding is also a takeaway. But how would you describe tourism in Ghana? We don't see adverts such as Azerbaijan, come visit. Countries are advertising themselves. How is Ghana advertising itself?
Well, I think word of mouth is one of the important things that Ghana uses to advertise itself.
How long does that go?
It goes a long way because we attend international exhibitions where these things are done. But the challenge there is that when the infrastructure is not fixed, a lot of people talk about the roads leading to the place is not good, there are no toilet facilities in the attractions and the destinations, and there's no this and there's no. It's true. All these things are not there. But guess what? People visit them anyway, and people are enjoying them. So why don't you join in and give your little that you can give, so that the communities can make a little bit more money and then put these facilities there, so that when we go out there and have an advert, we can then get people coming, and when a lot more people come, we get a lot more money, and then we can build these facilities. one of the things that I think we need to understand is the how tourism is organized here in Ghana. I think it's decentralized. So the attractions that we have especially are attractions that belong to the district assemblies, the communities themselves. So it's not like government, big government from Accra has to take money to go and build the facilities in the small communities. The communities themselves have to be innovative and come up with these things, you see. So it becomes a little difficult for them when they don't make enough money because not enough people go there.
The challenges are many, but why should we take tourism seriously in Ghana when there have been a number of failures? Ghana started back in 2005 with a policy to attract more tourists into the country, make money, etc., etc. Also, to attract 1 million tourists in the country. Also, we know that we've got all these forts and castles, rusting away.
The heritage aspects of our tourism is like none other in the whole world.
So we've got it all.
We've got a great deal. Now we just need for the authorities to help the communities, make the communities understand what they need to do. I don't know how much they've done.
Who are you referring to as authorities?
The ministry, the tourism authority. I mean, I interact with them, and I know they go in there and do a lot of work. But I don't know how much they have gotten the people who...
That was Brand Ghana to do all of these things. That's also another failure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened to Brand Ghana,
So how do you get to do your work? How do you do what you do when everything around you seems not to be working? When there are so many constraints, shouldn't you forget about it?
I think that I'm working on the premise that the more of us who go, the better the chances of making some money. And then once you make a bit more money, then the communities themselves can put some of these facilities in their communities.
Okay, Patron, let's talk about Sea Ghana. You are in charge of Sea Ghana, and we know that it's a movement where on monthly occasions you take trips to amazing places in the country. We also know that your partner in Joy FM and Joy Prime on Multi TV, and you've been to a lot of fantastic places where you didn't take me. But tell us, so how do you get your work done? Just after we've discussed, the humongous
Which one should
problems.
I do? The crying first, or
maybe you want to start with the crying first?
I mean, it is an Herculean task trying to put this thing together, because while people want to travel, like we said, people are not prepared to spend, and much as I'm working to sort of subsidize the packages. What the prices that I quote are packages, so everything is inclusive: transportation, accommodation, the meals, and attractions. They're all included. Of course, when you want to shop, you can't expect that to. So the idea is that when you go into the communities, you can buy some of the artisans' works that you see there. But it is a very difficult task, and there's no easy way of doing it. I've had to subsidize it to a very, very large extent. But I believe that the more people see how much tourism can contribute, even to your well-being, because everybody who has gone...
but business is an important part of your well-being, and if you're subsidizing, how does that affect? That affects your business.
It's a long-term thing. I'm not here for the short term. I'm not here for the short haul at all. I'm here for the long term.
But there'll be some losses on your part.
In the beginning, there will be losses.
Is it an industry or a sector that is worth anybody's while?
Yeah, it's definitely worth people's while. And I think that the more people get into it, the better it becomes. That's how I'm seeing it. Because we have, like you're saying, amazing places in Ghana, comparable to any in the world.
Amazing places in Ghana that most people don't care about or are not interested in spending money.
Which is a shame.
Why do you have hope in this sector?
Because I partnered with the biggest media organization in this country. And the idea is that we're going to be telling the story. So we're making the story available to everybody. And we're saying that everybody can have a chance to create their own story when you come on one of these tours with us. I mean, we have a lot of people living in Accra. The objective of this thing is to make local Accra residents take vacations.
Hopefully we will achieve that.
Yes.
Interesting conversation. I'm afraid we'll have to leave it here. But this has been Pa John Bentifi. He's in charge of Sea Ghana domestic tourism. And if you haven't been to any of their trips, I'll encourage...
On Saturday.
Okay.
We're going to the Mole National Park.
Okay, Mole National Park on Saturday. I'll encourage you to make a date with him. Go on that trip with him. You will not regret it. But thank you so much, Pa John, for joining us. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll bring business.